I don't know what kind of high some people get. The satisfaction and the joy and the high of driving a race car is tremendous. But when you win a race and you've beat people that's beat you, I don't think could ever be a high any better. To Roy Hill, it was probably the greatest part of my life. You can say, how can the early days be so great? I knew nothing about it. I got a chance to see drag racing start on dirt tracks. That's something, isn't it? For anybody listening to this today, dirt tracks, we're used to Christmas trees, yellow, 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 green, go. It was a flagman. Whoever dreamed that kid that was amazed with drag racing would own Rockingham Dragway. I knew I loved drag racing. Sneaking into tracks, in the trunk. It didn't take but 2 times of doing that and get left in that truck one time. Trunk stopped me from sneaking in. Some way or another, I'd work hard enough to get the money to get in and ride in. In the back seat most of the time. I bought Sam's 62 Dodge and put it on the street, and like all young people, I went to racing on the street in the 60s. 63, 64. I'd run a quarter to a half a mile. My buddies would run from a half to a mile. One would run 5 miles. We're doing that on the street. Today, I wouldn't ride with these crazy people a block. They scare me to death. Ronnie passed away a few years ago. But I learned from Ronnie Socks and Buddy Martin what I learned about shifting gears, what I learned about driving from Buddy. He didn't stand and tell me a lot of things, but when I did pick up on things, he'd explain it to me a little better. The same way with Richard Petty and Maurice. They gave me a chance. They built Roy Hill a car. We'll talk about drag racing, what it was like in the 50s and 60s, running on a dirt track and a flagman. The West Coast had what they call the Christmas tree. I can remember going to racetracks, Farmington, Piedmont, Mooresville, Concord. There was a yellow light and a green light, and a man flipped that switch. You had to learn to be quick, because getting started before the other man meant so much. I learned how to get started from the flagmans. You would watch his feet, you'd watch his knees, you'd watch the expression of his face, and that was an indication of the flag being thrown. I've had some great people around me. I've won a lot of races because of the people that I have. Mike Bell, you heard me say, won the championship in '95 in one of my Thunderbirds. I ended up 3rd. A boy I trained ended up 2nd. Mike looked after my car. He looked after all the cars around here. Him and Mickey Amesley. Mickey did the engines. John Causey worked hard on engines for us down in Atlanta. I've had good people helping me become a winner. You got me? One person don't make a winner. One person didn't make Richard Petty the king. He had his daddy, he had his brother, he had his cousin Dale Inman. He had so many people that wanted to win. You've got to have a leader. You've got to have people that's dedicated. And that's what I learned early in life. I couldn't do it by myself. Used to, we'd go to the races and it was just Roy Hill. I'd pick up somebody at the track to help me set the hood off or guide me unloading or loading the car. Today, there's $1.5 million sitting out here, and there's a big tractor trailer that goes down the highway. 4 cars in it, engines, all kind of parts. You know, it takes more than one person to unload that car. It takes a team. And when you can get that through to people that work for you, you're a team, you're a part of this, then they can wake up. Does it take a day? Does it take a year? Or do they ever find out that? Don't many of them last that long. A team of people that's made me a winner. It's a team of people that gave me a chance to learn and accept me. It's not from being cocky. It's not from being mean. It's from being just Roy Hill. Never forgetting where I come from, learning to feel, learning to see, and adapt to the situation that it takes to be a winner. Track conditions, car setups, not let something bother you, not worry about something somebody else is doing. Take care of your own stuff. Stay at your own car, stay at your own rig, and dial your cars in to win the race. Let the track come to you. Let the race come to you. You stay in control mentally and physically, and that car will be good to you. First thing I teach is safety. How safe a person's got to be and how safe that car has to be. NHRA has rules and things that I have to go by to have my driving school and to have a car legal. I try to start people off with the right stuff. You're talking about $2,000 worth of safety equipment. Carl's got a new 2016 Cobra Jet coming. They have a Ford dealership. They sold one of the cars they got 2 cars, to a very wealthy billionaire in New York. But the only way they would sell it is for him to come to Roy Hill School. So it's back to the beginning, safety. They are behind everything I do and say. I'm not gonna let nobody go down that track till they're prepared to go down. From 1989 till now, 2016, I've had a school, and it's recommended by the highest people you can find. I'm respected because I am tough. I am hard, but at the end of the day, I've never hurt anyone. I've never lost no one. If something happened, yes, we've had accidents, but we've never hurt anyone. People say heart, passion, or whatever about this sport of drag racing. Yeah, I got it. They just don't get to see it unless they really sit down and evaluate what's happened that day they spent with me or that 2 days. And if somebody spends a couple of days with me and they go home and think, and they call back and I want to come back in. They do that year after year. The professionals that race hire to take me to the races to evaluate what's going on. They're no different than Roy Hill. I'm very, very fortunate. I see things that other people don't. I think that's because I come from 100 mile an hour to 250 mile an hour. I told you people could go out and buy cars that'll run 300 plus, but they never took the time to come up the ladder. From dirt tracks, a flagman, to asphalt and the Christmas tree, and to learn to be quick. The quickness was built in my mind, being able to see the whole car, see the drivers. I've made all those mistakes they've made. I know how to get in people's heads. I know how to straighten them out and make them better drivers, make them better winners. And that's not just drag racing. People that come to my school, yes, they're wanting to learn. It's hard to say, I don't know how to do this. I run my school by each individual of what they need. God, I know how to drive, just let me get in the car. I want to make that 150, that 200 mile an hour run. It don't work that way. You'll go out, and you'll go 100 foot. Wait a minute, they've never drove the car. They'll go for a ride and watch me drive down the track. 50, 70, 100 mile an hour. Not to scare them, but to give them a comfort level. I am the official Ford Drag Race School, but I work with a lot of other people. I have learned something from everybody. I learned a lot this week about people, about cars, and how to be better teacher. Everybody is not cut out. There's some real good drivers. There's drivers better than Roy Hill, but can they teach better than I can? It's two different things.